In the beginning, there were no empires, no nations, no history books, only power waiting to be claimed. In the golden sands of ancient Egypt, a civilization rose that would defy time itself. A kingdom built not just on land, but on belief, where kings became gods. And death was only the beginning. From the mind of Imhotep came a vision that would change humanity forever. Structures so massive, so precise, they still challenge modern science. The pyramids, monuments not just to the dead, but to eternity. But far from the silence of the desert, another world was rising. A world of chaos, of war, of ambition without limits. Cities like Uruk and Ur did not unite. They fought, they conquered, they destroyed. Because in this world, power was never given. It was taken. And then everything changed. One man, one vision. Sargon of Akkad. He didn't just rule a city. He built the first empire in human history. Before empires ruled the world, before history was written in ink, power was carved in stone and in blood. The earth was young in civilization, and humanity stood at the edge of something unknown. Two worlds were rising, not together, but at the same time. One built on order, the other born from chaos. In the land of ancient Egypt, the desert stretched endlessly, silent, golden, and unforgiving. But through this lifeless expanse flowed a miracle. The Nile, a river that did not just give water, it gave life. Every year, like a divine promise, the river would rise. It flooded the land, swallowed the earth, and then, just as mysteriously, it would retreat, leaving behind rich, black soil. To the people, this was not nature. This was the will of the gods. Villages formed along its banks. Farmers learned its rhythm. Life became predictable, stable, controlled. And from that control came power. Not the kind of power that shouts, but the kind that lasts. Upper and Lower Egypt, once divided, were united under a single ruler, a king who was no longer just a man. He became something more, a god in human form, the pharaoh, a being who controlled not only the land, but the afterlife itself. Because in Egypt, death was not the end. It was a beginning, and if eternity awaited, then it had to be prepared for. At first, their tombs were simple, hidden beneath the earth, quiet, humble. But power does not remain humble for long. A vision was born, one that would defy time itself. A man named Imhotep stood before his king and imagined something impossible. A structure that would rise, not just above the land, but above history. Stone upon stone upon stone, not buried, but rising, reaching, challenging the heavens. The step pyramid of Djoser was not just a tomb. It was a declaration. And once that declaration was made, there was no turning back. Egypt had discovered something dangerous: monumental ambition. Soon, the desert began to transform. Thousands of workers gathered, not slaves, but citizens bound by purpose. Engineers, craftsmen, thinkers, all moving as one. They cut stones weighing tons. They transported them across miles of burning desert. They aligned them with the stars. Precision that defies even modern understanding. And then came the impossible. The pyramids of Giza Plateau. Perfect, immense, eternal. The Great Pyramid, built for Khufu, rose like a mountain created by human hands. over 2 million stones, each placed with purpose, each part of a design that whispered a single message. We are not temporary. We are forever. But while Egypt reached for eternity in silence and order, another world was rising in fire and conflict. In the lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a different story unfolded. There was no single king, no unified vision, only cities, independent, ambitious, dangerous. Places like Uruk, Ur, and Lagash stood like rivals on a battlefield that never truly slept. Each city had its own ruler, its own army, its own gods, and each believed it was chosen. Here, power was not inherited peacefully. It was taken, defended, fought for. Walls rose high around cities, not to show greatness, but to survive. Armies marched not for glory, but for necessity. Water, land, trade routes, everything was contested. Everything was war. Unlike Egypt's calm certainty, the city-states lived in constant tension. But from that tension came brilliance. They invented writing cuneiform so their words could outlive them. They developed mathematics to measure land and power. They built towering ziggurats, temples that reached toward the gods, just like the pyramids, but born from competition, not unity. And with every victory came a new enemy. With every rise came a fall. Because in a world of rivals, no one remains on top forever. And yet, one man changed everything. Sargon of Akkad. He did what no one before him had. The city-states had proven that competition could drive innovation. And together, they shaped the future. Empires that would rise later, Rome, Persia, Greece, would carry their ideas forward. Centralized power and fierce independence. Order and chaos. Two forces, forever in conflict, forever shaping history. And even today, thousands of years later, the pyramids still stand, unbroken, unmoved, defying time itself, while the ruins of ancient city-states lie scattered, whispering stories of ambition, betrayal, and war. If you stand before the pyramids, you feel silence, a deep, eternal silence. But if you walk through the ruins of city-states, you hear echoes of battles, of kings, of a world that refused to stay still. Two paths, two visions. One question that still haunts us: is true power built through unity or forged through conflict? Because humanity has never stopped choosing between the two, and perhaps we never will.